and yeah, they kind of complement each other, and you might like one and not like the other one. I use the Cytec side panel that was bought out for FarmSim 15, I believe. It does work with 19, although I don't think Giants supports it. So I don't think it really is, but you could say it's a little bit of more by luck than judgment that the side panel works on 19. And when 19 was first released, the side panel really had problems. I ended up having to clear out all of the key sets and reprogram every single one of them. And when they supposedly fixed it, it messed up all the mappings I had again. Reset didn't work, and I had to basically clear out all of the settings and re-enter them a second time. Since that happened, it works flawlessly. So, and I bought the side panel for use with 17. Sorry, I bought it in a set with the steering wheel, and the steering wheel broke. And I contacted Cytec support, and they sent me a new one which broke in an identical manner to the first one. So I decided, rather than using their cheap and grotty steering wheel, I'd get a G29, which had just gone on sale. So if you're looking at something like the FarmSim side panel, I use it on the Truck Sims because you can it's basically a box with buttons on it, and things like Truck Sim and FarmSim basically allow you to configure any device you want. If it's got buttons on it, you can configure a button to an in-game I'm gonna have to turn the lights on, I think. That still doesn't help. An in-game function. I mean, you could possibly even use them on flight sims for all I know. But now I understand that I believe all of the Cytec equipment has now been sold, and it's now branded Logitech. I do not know if Logitech's quality assurance department is any better than Cytec's. Whether it's exactly the same build, or whether they're actually taking care to make sure that their equipment actually works out of the box. So you pay your money, you take your chances. But I'll attest to the side panel, and a G29 works quite nicely on the Truck Sims and Farm Sims, at least 17 and 19. But if you're really ambitious, you could build your own side panel, because all it is buttons and a USB circuit, which sets different different conditions depending on which button you press, and if the game can read it, you can format it any way you like. I don't think I'd pay $200 for one though. And I am not very ambitious, but I would not be averse to building my own if I had to. And I think, yes, Mrs. Osei did enjoy playing Farm Sim. Thought she did quite well for her first, at least, working outing. Ooh, missed again. She actually managed to harvest 2 fields of cereal crops along with the straw. I did spend the last of my money on Monday on a front loader, no, a telehandler, and the Anderson X tractor. So when we get round to collecting all the grass, I'll be able to wrap that up immediately. I just don't have enough money left to buy the BGA, which would have been a nice thing to be able to do. But at least we've got the grass, and we've got the straw, and we've got some hay. Oh, $300 in Australia. Yes, I've heard a lot of should we say issues with Australia. I used to play a lot of role-playing games, tabletop games, and for a time I worked at the Virgin Game Centre in London, and we had a lovely couple who was on a 3-month European vacation, came into the store, and they were telling us how basically most imports of gaming equipment and tabletop gaming supplies are controlled by effectively an importing monopoly, and they get to choose what price everybody in Australia pays, and nobody can get them any cheaper, and you can't mail order from the rest of the world without getting in trouble, or at least you couldn't at the time, because they were protecting their import rights. And so this Australian couple was pretty much into the store every other day to buy something new. Don't know how much they ended up spending, but they figured, well, we can get it cheaper here in London than we can, and London's not exactly cheap, than we can in Australia. And if we bring it in manually, then there isn't the import restrictions that there is if you try and get it mail order in. Now, I have no idea if that's still the case. Well, I don't know. I mean, the thing is that the BGA on field mounting is quite cheap. It's just that I've used up pretty much all of my cash. So next week's episode is probably going to start with us selling all of the wheat and probably half of the straw, and making silage bales and selling most of those too, just at the barn, not at the BGA. I'd have liked to have sold them at the BGA because A, it's cheaper, or A, it usually makes more money, and B, it makes digestate, which is free fertilizer for the farm. Unfortunately, there is a downside of that of you need a digestate tank, and that would be additional expense in order to fertilize the fields. So I'm not too desperate about that. We're going to have to get a lime spreader, and I don't have a lot of money for that. Actually, I should check on how much the lime spreader on this farm is. Because I know for a fact I can't afford the big one. Okay, so that's about 43,000 litres of grass. Should keep some sheep happy for a while when we get them. So, P. What was I looking for? Fertilizer technology. So this is the cheapest thing. 49th, I don't even have that much. That only does fertilizer. Now these two do lime. That's 11,000, that's 15,000. So I could get that one again. Possible. I don't think I can afford this one. Although, yeah, it gets expensive quick as well. 3,000 litres is 22,000. So 15,000 is for just 1,000. So that's a cheaper one to get. It's 11,000 for 1,000. 15,500 for 1,800. But I also need a lime dispenser on the farm. We don't have the money. See, we don't really have a lot of money. Might have to borrow some money, which I'd like to avoid if at all possible, because we've already got 250,000. I know Arthur likes to borrow tons of cash and then pay it back, but that can lead you into trouble if you don't make your farm productive immediately. So we might hold off preparing the fields until we've got a little bit of money in the bank in order to buy stuff that we need. Okay, that's that done with. Turning, there we go. Okay, let's grab the spreader. Oh, I can use that to do the planting. Yeah, that'll be good. Okay, I think this is lime here. Nope, that's fertilizer. Okay. Blew that. That's fertilizer 2. Is there any lime over here? I'm thinking no. Okay. No. Okay. So we're going to do a fresh load tray straight from here. Yes. Actually, no. Don't do that. Okay. Now, I think in general the new placeable BGA is... it's kind of like the deck chairs. Why didn't that fill? Because I pressed the wrong button. There we go. I didn't see the point in having the deck chairs. For $150 or whatever it was, and you get a sleep point on the map, I thought that was a little bit cheaty. You know, when, although that said, the houses at 150,000 also completely extortionate. But since then, they've been bringing out houses that are sort of a more reasonable price, 30,000, 40,000. However, the deck chairs are really useful for farms which have all of the buildings pre-paced, a bit like the Michigan farm. And you pick one of the buildings as your farmhouse, but it doesn't have a sleep trigger on it. And things like the deck chairs, you can put it outside, or the boots, you can put them outside of an established house on the map to turn it into your farmhouse. And I think the BGA, the placeable BGA, much the same idea. It's good for maps that don't include a BGA. So things like the Giants Island 09 does not include a BGA because there wasn't a BGA in Farm Sim 09. But if you want to make full use of the map, then it would be kind of useful to have a BGA on it. Now that there is a placeable BGA, you can put one on there if you want one. And I kind of think that's a good thing. But if a map includes the BGA already, then I tend to prefer, yeah, I'll use the one on the map. I'm making a mess of this, aren't I? I'm using up an awful lot of lime as well. If we get this right, we should have the outside of the field mapped. I might have to go back to the farmyard to complete this field. Okay, there we go. going to run out of lime. I think we're going to run out of lime. Pretty sure we're going to run out of lime. Oh, we might not run out of lime. It's quite a good spread width. Oh, there's none left. And it's empty. Wow. I think that's good enough. So, next job there is to plough the field. I'll use the weeder to reseed it because it's got the best operating width of all the equipment I have. Hopefully sufficient seed capacity. To plant the field. All that rinsed out, all the lime washed away in that drain. That's probably illegal. Actually, washing out fertilizer is probably also illegal. But I won't tell anyone if you don't. Yep. So I'll put the weight back. Don't think we need that with the plough. Oops. Just missed him. Yeah, and that's kind of what I try to do here. I mean, we did a lot of jobs the last couple of days. We sold full trailers of stuff. So we made a fair amount of money. And from that, I bought this field. And I think when I bought it, my plan was just to plough it in and reseed it as grass, because the yield was going to be bad. But I started today and figured, well, there's no point wasting the grass. Why don't I just harvest what's there?